With the last pick in this year's draft.
Oh, the wheels on the bus go round and round. Let me first start this video off by saying that I do not think that Dennis Allen is a bad human being. I think that he's a great father from what I can see, and he looks like a great human being. But I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I need some dogs on my team. I don't care if you're a nice person kissing babies. I need some dogs on the team. I don't care if you cuss out old people. As long as the results on the football field says W at the end of the game, I don't care. Within reason, that is. There is a very valid reason why I am not a NFL head coach. It's because I'm not qualified. That's the simplest way I could put it. I am not qualified. So maybe I don't understand what goes into being a head coach, but it can't be what Dennis Allen is putting out there on the field. And it also can't be what he's saying after the football games. And it also can't be what he's saying off the field as well. Dennis Allen has thrown his players under the bus so many times, and I don't know if that's something a head coach is supposed to do. We had the whole thing with Jameis Winston last year when he audibled the play to get his boy a touchdown. Now, me personally, I didn't mind the last second touchdown. We were going up against our arch rivals and we're stumping them out. Continue to stump them out. Because if it was the Atlanta Falcons with their foot on our neck, do you think they would have stopped to let us get air?
What?
Absolutely not. One thing that I realized about Dennis Allen's tenure with the New Orleans Saints, he has to have everything perfect, and if it's not perfect, he has to throw someone under the bus. For example, was Jameis Winston last year. Jameis Winston was the fall guy, and they got his ass up out of New Orleans. But look at Jameis Winston right now with the new team. He balled out in his first start with his new team and got the dub over a team that is considered to be a contender for the title. And how could we ever forget about the press conference after the Atlanta Falcons game where DA went and threw his players and Jameis Winston clean under the bus? We also seen earlier that year where he threw Chris Olave under the bus. And now this year, he continues to throw his players underneath the bus by saying that there isn't any great young player on the team. Now again, I'm not a head coach, but I don't think that's the way you get the most out of your young players, by saying that they're not great, they're just good. May I interest you in an alternative? We got great young pieces, but we just not getting the best out of them at this moment. That gives your young players the encouragement that they are great and that there's more that can be done to get them to that next level, versus saying that they're just good pieces and they're not great. If I was on the Saints team and I was a young player, man, I wouldn't give him any inch of effort in any game going forward. And that all leads back to coaching, because a great coach is going to get greatness and demand greatness out of every single player on the roster. You can say the same thing for the older talent on the team. They're great, but they're not doing anything worth greatness. Everybody on the team right now is giving half-ass effort, especially the coaching, especially Dennis Allen. Remember when we had a leader on our team, a dog on our team, Sean Payton? When did you ever see him go to the podium and throw his team under the bus? Sean Payton kept everything close to his chest to a point where it was very frustrating that he wouldn't give us no information at these press conferences. But now we have Dennis Allen who feels like he should go in front of a podium and try to get himself out of trouble. And it's sad to say this. In order for Dennis Allen to have a good situation, everything has to be perfect. And that kind of mirrors the quarterback that he chose, Derek Carr. In order for Derek Carr to go out there and be the baller that he can be, everything has to be perfect. If one thing is off, Derek Carr is off completely. Same thing with the coach DA. If one person is injured, everything is spoiled. You don't believe me? The Saints were relatively healthy for the last game that they played in. The defense was only missing Paulson and Debo, and yet they couldn't do anything on defense. The offense, yes, is missing Derek Carr and our boy Eric McCoy. But you mean to tell me that's the reason why you can't make anything happen? When Derek Carr was the starter and he had his full arsenal, he was on a 3-game losing streak. At that point, we were only missing Eric McCoy. So you mean to tell me that you don't have a quality backup that can step in and give you at least a little bit of the production of your starting center?
Hell no.
And that is the reason why you can't score now versus when you were scoring hella points in the first 2 games. That is a serious issue. And again, it all falls back on the head coach. We can sit here and say that Mickey Loomis is the real problem, but it's nothing we can do about that. He is the 3rd person in command of the Saints. There's only 2 people who can fire him, and they're not gonna fire him. So yes, it is a funnel effect. But right now, Dennis Allen, this is your your team. All the pieces on this team were at your picking, especially your quarterback. I hate to go into theories that Clinton Kubiak is just doing this to sabotage BA. It could be the reason, I don't know. But the fact that this team is the way that it is solely on Dennis Allen at this particular moment. And the fact that you're getting on interviews and throwing your team underneath the bus is crazy to me. You need to be getting off of these interviews, going into the lab and working on how you can adjust mid-game. But then again, I could just be tripping because I'm not a head coach.